Hey, but we're going to be starting this new series I talked about, and we're going to go through issues and ideas that hopefully will give students some encouragement, some strategies, and even, just some stuff to think about as you try to survive, or maybe even better than survive, the years of middle school if you're watching this, or high school, or even college, if you find that this is something helpful for you. I remember when I was in high school, my parents were divorced, my mom worked 2 jobs, I had a job after school that I worked most nights, and I didn't really have someone to kind of come alongside of me and talk through some of the obstacles I was facing and the hurdles, and really just help me to think through some of the issues I was facing so that I could, plan better and figure out some strategies to get where I wanted to go. So really, that's what I'm hoping that we can work on together as we do this series. I had the great privilege, and I still do in my life, to get to work with middle school students and high school students and college students. So I've seen a lot of the issues and struggles that people are facing at these ages, and I faced them too. I've seen some sad situations, and I've seen some great successes in the lives of students. But students and teens are some of my favorite people, and I love going through life together with them. I want to talk today about an idea that sounds so simple, but if you're like me and you're just caught up in living your life and just trying to get through your day, talking to friends, trying to manage your assignments, maybe you play a sport or on a team, you have to work, you're busy. What sounds simple at first might just be something that you haven't done or you don't do often enough. So I want to challenge you to take some time and think through this idea for your life, starting with the big picture. You've probably heard that saying before, the big picture, because I'm not so clever that I came up with it. But let me talk through it a little bit, because a lot of times we have like these general ideas about what we want to do. I want to go to college, or I want to get this career, I want to have this car. These kinds of ideas, these goals. And that's not a bad thing to have goals. And if you don't have goals for the next year of your life, or the next 5 years, or even the next 10 years, pause right now and write some of them down. We have to kind of put our goals on paper of what we want to do, where we want to get to, in order to know where we're going to really be going. We can't have these ideas floating out there. So I'm going to pause right now, when you push pause, and get some of those down just so that we can move forward, all right? I'll wait. Just kidding. You would have to pause, and I would still be going. So let's get started on this. I'm saying to take time to think a little bit further about the goals that you might want to achieve. Go deeper into what it takes to get there. Like, seriously do research into what it looks like to achieve that goal that you wrote down, or those goals that you wrote down. To buy that car, to get into college, or to get that job. Because it's about your life. It's your future. It's what you're going to be able to enjoy or not enjoy in 5 or 10 years, because you took the time right now to plot those goals out and then figure out, how do I get there? So take time to figure some of that stuff out. And when you do, when you have those goals and you figure out what you need to do to get to them, then you work backwards. What are the steps to get there? Once you start thinking through the steps to get to that goal, you're going to start to figure out what you need to do now. What do I have to do today in order to take steps to get there? You may be doing stuff right now in your life that is delaying your goals, or making it more and more difficult to achieve those goals, or maybe even making them impossible. And that's not a positive thing. We want to be able to do stuff today that helps us get along towards those goals. So what do I mean by that? Let's take something simple. Like, let's say one of my goals is to get a new Xbox, right? Whatever version is coming out. We can't guess a number, because, they came out with the 360 and then they came out with one. It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, let's say I know that the new Xbox, whatever number, comes out in a year, and it's going to be like $500, but I want it when it comes out. But I don't have that kind of money laying around. But let's say I go to Starbucks 3 times a week and I get a venti frappa yummy, and I go, instead of 3 times a week, I go 1 time a week for a year. and I saved the money from those other two, and guess what? I just paid for my new Xbox simply by that one step to make that goal. So how does that work the other way, right? Well, I worked when I was in high school, and I didn't really think ahead. I didn't think through, what college I might want to go to when I graduated, and I didn't have a plan of what I had to achieve in order to get there. I wanted to make some money since I had to buy a lot of my other stuff, like clothes and yearbooks and all of that, because, we had a struggle financially in our household. But what happened then when it came time to go to college when I didn't think through? Well, frankly, I was severely limited to the schools that would take me due to my grades that did suffer because of how much I chose to work. I had like 2 choices of college. Now, it all worked out great because I made other choices later in my life looking back, but at that point, I didn't think ahead and I didn't think through. So you might see why thinking through the big picture is so important. If you did that, if you thought through some of your goals, what might you change about what you're doing with your time and effort today or tomorrow in order to get on the right track with your goals? And this applies to everything if you think about it, right? Do you want to get married someday? Well, what kind of person and with what kind of qualities? If you thought through the big picture of who you wanted to spend your life with, how would that change who you're willing to date today? If you want a particular career, what should you do today to be more involved in that field or head in that direction? If you think about what colleges you want to be able to get into, how would you have to try differently in school today than you are right now? So let me encourage you, spend some time this week to think about yourself and what you hope to achieve and how you're going to get there. All right, so thanks for watching. A couple things I'd ask from you. First of all, please share this with someone you know that could use it. Please subscribe and like. And lastly, you can leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Did this kind of come true for you in your life? If you thought through some of your goals as a result of this, what did you find out? All right, anything like that. Or give me a topic and I will choose some of those to think through and develop. Whether you agree or disagree, hey, tell me what you think. I'd love to hear. Take care of yourself and let the big picture affect what you do in your life today.